When solitude is sacred, understanding the call to quiet communion with God, there are moments in the spiritual life when a person begins to notice something that once felt strange, but not now feels natural. Silence. Not the silence of loneliness, but the silence of presence. There was a time when quiet spaces felt empty, a time when the absence of conversation or companionship created a sense of something was missing. But as the soul grows closer to God, something begins to change. Solitude becomes different. Instead of feeling empty, it begins to feel full. Instead of feeling isolating, it begins to feel sacred. The presence of the Father fills the quiet places where loneliness once lived. And when that happens, a person begins to understand something that the world rarely talks about. Not everyone is called to live at the same pace. Some lives are meant to move through constant engagement, conversation, and community. But other lives are designed to return again and again to stillness. These souls require long, quiet spaces with God. Their clarity, strength, and calling are formed there. They listen before they speak. They withdraw before they pour out. They require silence because they carry much first formed in the presence of God. For these people, solitude is not avoidance. It is alignment. It is a place where their soul breathes. And when a person begins to recognize this rhythm with themselves, they may also discover something difficult. Not everyone understands sacred solitude, and that's the truth. Some people see quiet withdrawal as distance. Others interpret it as disinterest. But in reality, the contemplative soul is not withdrawing from people. They are returning to the place where God meets them. Throughout Scripture, we see that solitude was not simply a preference over spiritual mature people. It was often the environment where God spoke most clearly. Many of the great movements of God in Scripture began in quiet places. Moses encountered God in the wilderness. Elijah heard God in a gentle whisper after retreating to the mountain. And Jesus himself repeatedly withdrew from the crowds in order to be alone with the Father. In the Gospel of Mark, we read, very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. Mark 1:35. The crowds were waiting. The disciples were searching. Needs were everywhere. And yet Jesus stopped. Jesus stepped away. Why? Because even the Son of God honored the necessity of quiet communion with the Father. Solitude is not the rejection of people. It is the restoration of the soul. Without it, clarity fades. Without it, wisdom weakens. Without it, a person begins to operate from exhaustion rather than alignment. For contemplative people, solitude is not optional. It is essential. It is the place where the soul is recalibrated. It is where discernment becomes clear. It is where calling is renewed. But this rhythm can be misunderstood in relationships. A person who is wired for constant relational engagement may feel unsettled by long periods of quiet. They may interpret solitude as withdrawal. Yet for the contemplative person, solitude is the very place that allows them to return to the world with clarity and peace. Without it, they slowly lose the center of their life with God. This is why understanding one spiritual rhythm is so important. Because when solitude is sacred, protecting it is not selfish. It is obedience. Father speaks, my child, I meet you in quiet places. When the world grows loud and expectations press against your heart, I draw you back into stillness so you can hear my voice clearly. Do not fear the spaces of solitude I have given you. They are not emptiness. They are invitation. But I have called you to know me in the quiet, and from that quiet place, I will form the words, the wisdom, and the compassion you will carry to others. Do not apologize for the rhythm I place within you, for when you remain close to me, your life will bear fruit that could never be produced through striving alone. Come to the quiet places. I am here. Scripture, be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Prayer, Father, thank you for the quiet places where I can meet you. Help me recognize when solitude is not loneliness, but sacred space with you. Give me wisdom to protect the rhythms you have placed within my life. I have placed within your soul a rhythm that returns to me. Others may not always understand this, Some will seek constant movement. Others will thrive in crowds. Teach me to return to stillness whenever my spirit becomes overwhelmed. Let my life be rooted in communion with you so that everything I do flows from your presence. Journaling reflection. Consider these questions prayerfully. When do I feel most aware of God's presence? Do quiet spaces restore my spirit? Have I ever felt pressure to abandon solitude in order to meet others' expectations? What role does stillness play in my relationship with God? Challenge. Create intentional space this week for sacred solitude. Turn off distractions. Sit quietly with God. Listen rather than speak. Allow your soul to settle in the presence of the Father. When solitude becomes sacred rather than empty, the heart discovers a peace that the world cannot provide. And I am sorry for all this background noise. I have all of these motorcycles and buggies and everything in my background, and it's honestly distracting me and driving me crazy. So I'm sorry you're hearing all of this. I may make this video again, but I've waited and waited, and today's just a pretty day here in West Virginia. And I'm that contemplative person that needs peace and quiet. And I'm honestly telling you, it's driving me crazy. I wanted to go sit on my porch and swing, but I can't do it. All of the noise is like gonna like cause me to scream. Anyways. And so, I also taught school for 30 plus years. I was an art teacher, and this is crazy. Every year I would say, I'm never going to retire in education. Never going to retire in education. I love the kids, and I love teaching art, and I loved art. I'm an artist. However, what I didn't recognize is that I was this contemplative person, and I couldn't figure out why I felt so drained. Every day after school, I would just want to sit in stillness and peace and quiet and not hear a sound. It was like I was dying. And then to just get up and do it all over again was like pure, you know what? And that was my life. And I couldn't figure it out. It wasn't until the Lord revealed to me, I guess when I retired, which wasn't too long ago, and I sat in stillness and rest, and I started connecting with writing again and just sitting in silence and stillness, which I never really got much of. And as I did that, the Lord revealed to me, this is how you are. This is how I made you. And it's really sad to have gone all of those years of my life not knowing who I was. But the Lord reveals authenticity to you. As you grow close to Him and walk in relationship, He will make it known things that you would have never known. Just like me, knowing this about me. And so now I know the rhythms. I know how I'm wired. And because I know how I'm wired, I'm able to plan. I'm able to understand. I'm able to express to other people, like my nose, like, no, I can't do that. I don't like that. Anyway, there's a whole nother, there's just this fire that's gone off, knowing that who I am, how I'm wired. And there's no apology for that. There's nothing wrong with me, and there's nothing wrong with you. If you are wired for relations, that's okay. Like, we're made different. And what we need to learn to do is understand each other. Don't assume. Don't judge. Ask questions. Like, truly. Ask people. Like, I'm guilty at this. In school, I would see these kids sitting alone, and I honestly thought something was wrong. And I would always go up to them and say, are you okay? Can you talk to me or whatever? And they're like, no, we just like sitting alone. That was, I just couldn't comprehend that, couldn't grasp that. But now, gosh, it makes so much sense. I'm that person. I've just been trying to fit little square me into a round hole. And I'm not round. I'm a square. I don't fit there. And so I don't have to fit there either. God has made each of us different. One's a head, one's a foot, one's a hand, one's a, we're all different in the body. and we're all different in this world, and the world needs all of us to function. So, be understanding, ask questions, don't assume. And yeah, so I hope you weren't too distracted by all the noises. I barely could read my own writing because my mind was like, oh, this noise. All right, have a great day.